Hello my scrappy friends, welcome today. I am working on my next share for Cut to You, and I'm using one of the Kit to You kits. So I've cut my cut file, I've followed the instructions in the step-by-step. I'm kind of sticking to the sketch and to kind of the recipe ingredients that Gwen has given. You can see on the background here, it's really very faint, hope you can see. I've also used my Cameo to sketch in pencil the internal lines of that cut file, and I've got all of my internal pieces cut here. So I cut out the center of the back, which is here. That way I could line up everything exactly where it lines up. And yeah, so I'm going to go and stitch my border. This is the photo I'm scrapbooking. I will stitch a border on here as well and then get sticking. I'll pop you on fast forward. I hope you enjoy. Alright, so here I am doing my voiceover. This is the cut file that I'm using and the completed layout. I'm just going to quickly show you here on the video the stitching that I've added. I chose to go with grey here. I didn't want to use black and white. I thought that would be too harsh. But I also wanted to draw on like the greys that are in the photo and some of the printed stuff in the background on that paper is grey as well. I'm using the Spectrum Sherbet Collection by 49 and Market. I may have been hoarding this just a little bit, and I'm going to start by sticking down my cut file. As you saw then, I just added some of my adhesive to that middle heart, and I have lined that up with the pencil line on this paper. So the reason that I did that pencil line, like I said, was so that I lined it up in exactly the right place. This cut file I am actually sticking right back literally into the center. In my Cameo software I centered the cut file and then cut it, and then when I ran this pattern paper through I left it in the same place, and then like I said I just traced the internal parts of the letters with a lead pencil through the Cameo software and sent that back through, so I knew exactly where I was sticking it. I did go line by line, and I just showed you I added adhesive around the lines and stuck it down, and then I went back and stuck anything that didn't seem flat enough. I've got my letters here that I'm going to sort back into the back from where they came from, so that those colours in the background are then through to the foreground in my cut file, which is why I made sure I did the pencil outline of the letters in exactly the same place that I'd cut them from. I hope that all makes sense. If it doesn't, just drop me a comment and I'll try to explain it better. As you can see, I'm just adding some wet glue to my background and then slotting these pieces back in, much like a puzzle. Some of them you just kind of have to kind of wiggle and push into the right place. As much as the Cameo does awesome cuts, it's not 100% the same every single time. So that is all of my letters stuck down, and you can see that the flow is exactly what's in my background as well, which I really love, something different. As I said, I am following along with the ingredients list that Gwen has included in the kits. I kind of strayed a bit, but that white pattern paper I've got there, she did say to use something that was a contrast to the background paper, so I have done that, but then I've stuck pretty much to the sketch as well, and she does specify to use the butterflies, and from there I've kind of picked bits and pieces from the Spectrum Sherbet collection that work in place of what is actually in the kit. So I really love how this layout came together, and once I had worked out exactly how I was going to get that cut file exactly where I wanted it, this page came together super quickly. Gwen includes the size of the cut file as well, which is super awesome. Just a matter of dragging it into the Silhouette software and resizing it and cutting it. So easy. So I very quickly decided I was going to embellish colour on colour, which did leave me in a little bit of a dilemma, because I managed to get a lot of this collection, but I've only managed to get the I think it's called Strawberry Lemonade in the ephemera pack, and the laser cut pieces. And then in the 6x8 paper pad, I got I think it's called Tidal Wave or something, so the blues and greens. Luckily, this layout is mostly on the bottom third of the page, so I'm able to stick with those yellows and pinks. The chipboard does have all of the colours in it, so I'm able to then pull in some of those. But yeah, I just use a combination of all of those packs to embellish here. And you can see I'm just starting with those 3 butterflies that match the colours in the cut file. And I've also got that yellow special chipboard piece as well. I did pull in this one's a more yellow and green butterfly that has actually come off the packaging. I love 49er Market for that. On the back of their packaging, they often have things that you can cut apart, which is awesome. And sticking, like I said, to the sketch here, Gwen does have a cluster up here, so that's what I'm going to run with. And I did off camera pull out all the bits and pieces that I thought I could use in these clusters. Like I said, she does include that ingredients list. I've got that teal little notebook die cut, which I'll tell you right now, I end up ditching because you can see how it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. And I muck around with this for ages. I don't leave all of that footage in because it's not the most exciting footage you've ever seen. But I do love this little film strip, and I do find a way to make that work. So I'm just going to muck around with the placement here, play with things. I get this to a point where I'm pretty happy with it. And then I move this butterfly. I'm like, I think that can go there. I'm getting really frustrated because everything moves when I put something in place. All right, so from here, I think that this all comes together much easier for me. I've got that word strip and it says Pure Happiness. And then I pull this little ticket down here, which works. And from here, like I said, I was getting really frustrated, so I'm going to work on something else. I left that cluster alone. I decided to work on the title. And I was, again, in 2 minds here. I really liked the white torn bits from the laser cuts, but I really liked this tone on tone as well. It says Together Forever, we're family, and I ran with that idea, Together Forever, because even if we're not together, we're together. I hope that makes sense. But I'm not sure. Tell me, would you use a title Together Forever for a family photo rather than a husband and wife or partner photo? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm happy with it because, like I said, I've kind of read it as Together Forever because we're family, and even if we're apart, we will be together. Bit vague, but that's the way my brain works. I love this little lace piece. It is almost a full 12-inch strip, but I just wanted a little bit there, so you saw me tear a little bit off. And I am kind of curling up the corners of everything just for a bit of extra texture and interest. And I'm going to go with this yellow butterfly after all that. Slide that under there, and out it goes. So I'm going to pull it out again and be like, nope, you're gone. So it's out. I'm not going to use it. I do try the second half of this film strip, and again, I'm like, nope. What I did find was the internal piece of that film strip. I didn't like that you could see right through it, so I've just added that back in, and I like the way that's looking. I then found some more chipboard pieces, so The Good Life and Sweet, and I'm going to add those in. So then I've got that triangle around my photo. Having a bit of a hard time getting these to stick. If you have never worked with 49er Market collections, the papers are beautiful and they're quite thick. So just something to bear in mind. You probably need to hold things down a bit longer if it's not a flat surface. Some enamel dots. I add these in and I look at it and go, oh, I don't know if I should have added those in. And then I was like, I know what I need here. So I will add in my 3 clusters of grey enamel dots, and these match, this grey that I picked matches perfectly with the stitching that I've done. So I'm going to add 3 clusters of 3 to each of my clusters. So 1 cluster of 3 to each of my 3 clusters. And I go with a big one, a medium one, and a small one to each. Do muck around a little bit with exactly where I want the placement, especially I think on this cluster. I thought that was going to stay stuck there, and it didn't, thankfully, because the adhesive on these are pretty good. So then I'm going to add my last 3 up here. And so I've got those clusters of 3. If you don't know anything about the Kit to You kits, I will make sure I link everything in the description box below. They are fantastic, a super, super fun and easy way of getting scrapbook layouts done with a lot of the, like, I'm going to use like quotation marks, harder decisions already made for you, especially with the sketch. Gwen also does include the exact product she's used, so another super awesome thing about these kits. And all the dimensions, they're fantastic value, and you get the exclusive cut file as well. Can't buy this cut file in the store unless you buy the kit, so another super awesome feature of these kits. Grey splatter, that's what I needed, grey splatter. Everything was looking really clean and not so much me, so I added my black and my white gouache to one of these little triangles, and I now have grey ink to splatter. So I've just added that in, and again that matches my greys perfectly. A close-up on the video, and then I've got a few close-up images. This was a super fun page to put together. It was fairly quick and easy as well once I had the hard job of shopping my stash. If you have any questions, please make sure you drop them below. As always, thank you ever so much for choosing to spend your scrappy time with me. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and leave me a like, leave me a comment just to say hi. And I shall see you in my next process video. Have a fantastic scrappy day, my friends.